John chapter 9 for our reading this morning. We want to look at verses 1 through 7. John chapter 9. John chapter 9. I wish that we will all stay today in reverence and respect and for the word of God. John chapter 9, verse 1, these words have been left on record for our hearing this morning. Verse 1 says, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of Christ should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And when he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the Spirit. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay." Verse 7 says, "And he said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. And he went his way therefore and washed and came seeing."
All right.
I want to preach an unorthodox message on today. And I want to attack this text and talk about stop, rewind, play. I want to talk this morning from the thought, stop, rewind, play. If you would be so kind to just look at your neighbor and say, Neighbor, old neighbor, that man up there is going to preach about stop, rewind, press play. Oh, let's give the Lord a hand praise for his word. For his word on today. My brothers and sisters, all of us have been in situations that the Lord had to bring us out. All of us have been in situations that only the Lord was able to get us out of. That all of us have been in some tight situations, and many times we didn't know how we were going to make it. There were times when our ends haven't met in so long that they don't even know each other. There have been some times in our lives when we couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But there have been some times in our lives when our backs were up against the wall. We were stuck between a rock and a hard place, in a jam, in a squeeze, in a boat without a paddle. Have you ever been in that situation? There have been some times when we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from, and when we didn't know how we were going to feed our family, that there were times when times were so rough that when bills were due, that money was gone. There have been some times in our lives when we didn't know how we were going to make it from one day to the next. But can I suggest this morning that whenever you have trouble, trials, and tests in your life, can I suggest this morning, all you have to do is just press stop, rewind, and play. And that whenever you press stop, rewind, play, you will quickly discover that God will see you through, and he will bring you out whatever you are going through. And do I have any witnesses this morning that can testify? Reverend, there have been some times in my life when I had to press stop, rewind, play. And when I did that, I quickly discovered that we serve an on-time God. Yes, he is. But can I suggest today that there are times in our lives that whenever we stop, rewind, and play, can I tell you that there are times that God won't change your situation, but what I discovered that he will do, he will change you in your situation. Are y'all gonna hear me this morning? And so when we look at our text this morning, we find that when the Pharisees were trying to figure out and questioning the healing of this blind man, when they were trying to understand how is it that this man was born blind, but now he's able to see, when they come and question this man, and when he stops, rewinds, and play, he simply says to the Pharisees, listen, you're asking me questions I really don't have the answer. But he says in verse 25, he says, all I know is that I once was blind, but now I see. And so when we look at the text this morning, when we look at verse 1 of chapter 9, it simply says, and as Jesus passed by. And listen, I got happy when I saw the text, and I got happy when it said, and when Jesus passed by, because can I suggest this morning that sometime we can receive our best blessings as a result of Jesus passing by. Y'all want to help me this morning, because when we look at the text, we find that this man was not on the agenda of Jesus, because the text says, and as Jesus passed by, and as a result of Jesus passing by, he sees a man that's born blind from his birth. And so can I suggest today that you ought to get happy of the fact that Jesus, every now and then in our lives, that he just passes by. Because there have been some time when Jesus was on his way to help your neighbor. And while he was on his way to help your neighbor, he saw you crying, and he saw you in distress, and he decided to come see about you. And so can I suggest this morning that sometime we can reap the benefits of our neighbor being blessed. Can I say it again? That sometime we can reap the blessings of our neighbor being blessed, because that's why you don't have to worry when your friend gets a new car. That's why you don't have to get mad when somebody has bigger rims than you have. That's why you don't have to get mad when somebody gets a ring on their finger. That's why. Y'all gonna talk to me? That's why.